Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NarfArfGaming. Today we're having a look at Cell HD Emergence. What is Cell HD Emergence? As you might be able to see from the background, it is a voxel shooter. Or, well, it's a voxel game with shooter aspects. It's classed as an arcade game. And, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anymore. I'll show the... Actually, let's skip the opening intro for you. I don't want to ruin the story. It's okay. It's got a decent amount of depth for... Oh dear. Yeah, whatever. I've almost completed it already, so it's not that difficult. Yeah, I'll let you see this bit. It explains some of it.
Tú puedes hacerlo, Eva. Eva. Hija.
Miss Lozano, if your daughter is Eva Lozano, we can help.
¿Quién?
She won't hurt her.
Confíe en nosotros.
Yes, that syringe is really important. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump past the intro. It's probably gonna be a little difficult for me to show you, but I'll show you as I go along. Yeah, Dragon Mouse aim, blah blah blah, basic tutorials. Okay, what is this game about? Can you see what I am? I'm this little thing here.
Unit KRV 213.
Basically, you are a...
advancing infection in your sector.
What do you call it, an antivirus? Or... You're an injected part of an immune system. And what you're doing is, you're trying to kill these infectious things. Imagine it as a pus, if you will. They're kind of like small viruses that expand and such as you shoot them. As you can see, the controls are pretty basic. You use the mouse to move around this little voxel thing here. Then you can move in 3D space through either using WASD or WASD. Yeah, to change your direction. You can also move up and down. So you can sort of see it's a 3D space that you can only move in one dimension at a time. So. That's the hardest mission yet. Or something. But no, basically the story is you're in... I don't know, you're an injected white blood cell trying to save this little girl here. Okay. Amount of membrane, when the membrane dies, the membrane disease. Shooting the membrane makes the membrane weaker, temporarily. Defend cell wall against disease. Alternate, yeah, you can use the arrow keys too. What's the story with this game? Well, I found it the other day just browsing through the Greenlight section of Steam, and I found that it was on Asura, or not Asura, Desura, sorry. And I thought, well, it's on Desura for $1 or 77 pence, I think it is, or €1. So I thought, what the hell? Let's go with it. If it's $1 wasted, well, wow, I could care less, really. So I picked it up. It seems pretty interesting at its core. It's not something I've seen before. Like, voxel shooters or voxel games usually use voxels as a... what do you call it? A graphics thing. Like, it's used for making a pretty game. Here it's actually part of the mechanics. Like, you need to aim using the squares, or you're not gonna hit anything. And I think we're just about done with this membrane here. Let's see. Get the last bits. A jerk out of here. There we go. Now the game is by New Life Interactive, and what they basically are, they're an app company. The game was originally made and released for Xbox Live Arcade, so it does have some symptoms of being a console port. For example, there's no options menu as of yet for the game. I don't know, hopefully they'll fix that once it comes, or if it comes on green lights. Currently it has no options menu on Tesora. Oh, now we get to part of the interesting mechanics. I'm gonna show you something here. Yes, indeed. So just like in any real body, this body has antigens. And antigens basically keep you from getting sick. However, these antigens, the antibodies here are basically small sentries that allow you to protect an area without really protecting it. So by shooting this area, I'm helping the these small dots here advance, and you can see the more I shoot this area, the more of them come. What they do is that they will kill the infection as it moves through the membrane or tries to spread to it. You will be able to see this very, very shortly. Let's see. Yeah, I think we got it covered now. So, what you're gonna see starting, this thing here in the middle, this, oh, here we go. This little ball here, that's the source of infection. And what do you know? It tries to expand inwards. Yep. The antibody absolutely murders it. I can help out if I want. I think I can just mildly shoot at this. Just, you know, to make sure it doesn't overly expand, even if it gets the chance to. Oh, we're getting a little low on antibodies right now. This is not good. Piss off and die. Come on. Obviously, these pathogens do not last forever. If you make these antivirus things, you need to refresh them every now and then. You just do that by continually shooting, as long as you have something supplying you with these friendlies. And you know, it's surprising that's actually most of the game's mechanics just summed up in this little picture here. You're a little voxel thing going around trying to shoot like disease. I kind of imagine the yellow stuff popping out, it being pus as the result from you killing all of this. It's a little... I think we're about done. I mean, the cube in the middle is basically toast. Woo.
Sector health adequate. Redeploy.
I mean, if you've ever seen a voxel game before, you really know what the graphics are about. Everything is based on squares. These are supposedly squares that are constantly simulated, moving at, I think it's 13 FPS. What that basically means is they move 13 times. And I think, well, no. Okay, never mind that. Oh, this is another gaming mechanic. There's not just the regular purple stuff. You will also get this red shit. What does red stuff do? Well, it latches onto a cell and then it explodes, and that shit expands really fast. As you can see here, I'm actually having really great trouble just dealing with one of them. Come on. There. And there's another one there. Also, as you could see at the top and the bottom, I have a lot of small bars that help, or at least the what do I call it? It's basically a diagram that tells me how far I have to go and if I'm about to die. In the top, you can see a meter that counts how much tissue is left. If that goes below 8,000, basically I'm dead. In the bottom right, you can see the amount of, like in the far bottom right, you can see the amount of infection pathogens, I guess they call it in this game. And just above that you can see the amount of, I believe those to be the red pathogens. Like, these are the dangerous, these are the ones that just latch onto the tissue and begin to mutate. But you know what, this is a voxel. There's incredibly little to explain in terms of this game, and especially without going into the story, because that's actually a huge part of it. So what you're basically doing is you're defending all of this here, and there are quite a few levels. I haven't made it quite to the end yet. I'm pretty sure I'm near to it. And as you can hear, this sound you can hear in the background, that happens when you're close to dying. It's like warning me to basically stop sucking so much. Oh dear. What's interesting about this game is that every level actually brings in kind of like a new mechanic. Like, later in the game you get abilities that help you to deal with these red things. Like, you're gonna kill them before they actually latch onto something. Or you get, if you may remember the antibodies from before that actually helped me fight the infection, well, you can also get some that basically do the opposite. Like, you can, if the red manage to latch onto those, you'll have a problem because they'll begin to mutate your buddies into something that just spreads the virus even further, and all of a sudden you have a problem because you're running out of things to help you. And you kind of need them to survive. So it gets really, I wouldn't say stressful, it gets very tactical sometimes. Like, you need to make sure. Yeah.
Evolving new weaponry. Mutation
Right, I get my new weapon now.
Updated to target the new pathogen.
Which is basically a ray gun. But yeah, I think we'll do this mission, and then I'll talk for a little while. Maybe, or not talk for a little while, I'm gonna tell you a bit more about where you can get it and such, and I think that will be it. Oh, here we have some antibodies to help us. Lovely. You can sort of draw these paths. Yes. I know. And what they basically do is that they spread the antibodies all around this place. And the more I can get of these, the better. There we go. And thing has started to mutate. Okay, let's get to work. Well, they haven't actually tried to even touch the blobs yet. That's pretty lucky. Oh, that's one might do it. No? What they did? I can't really see. They're definitely trying, some of them. Bastards. Oh, there's just something there. And there's another huge body here. Oh, like you can see as it gets, the game gets more and more advanced, and as you get more and more stuff to watch out for, it gets pretty intense towards the end. Like, the more mechanics you get to kind of have to manage all the time, and the more enemies you sort of meet along the way, and the more things you have to keep an eye out for as you just kind of defend your, like, little bit of living tissue here. It gets really, really intense. And there are times where you're just thinking, what the frat am I doing wrong? And then you sort of you finally figure it out, and it's like, yeah, finally. And that happens occasionally. Especially that's something that's reinforced by the fact that the game isn't... the first time I played, I wasn't very sure of what the game was telling me to do. The instructions aren't all that clear. But it just means you learn by doing, like, oh,
Current
yes.
region identified as the initial site of infection. Continue
Indeed.
stabilizing alveoli structures.
You just kind of, you learn as you go instead of being guided by some invisible hand. Like, say, if you were playing Super Mario, we're just gonna go back here. Now I'm gonna... This is something that's a little sad. If you, when you close the game, what basically happens is you get a picture of the girl you're trying to save dead. It's a little morbid, really, but no, it's not that bad. So I think we covered most of the major stuff. The game is on Desora for currently $1 or 77 pence or €1. I'm sorry, but if you can't give that up for a game, I mean, come on. And if you're even vaguely interested in voxel graphics, just have a look at it. It seems pretty cool. As I mentioned, the game doesn't have an options menu, and that's kind of a bother. So if you like fiddling around with your game settings, just no, ain't gonna work here. What else to look out for? Well, the game is currently on Steam Greenlight. I will be linking to that in case you're interested in bringing it to the Steam. And of course I will be linking to the developers' websites. I will be making sure... Look at this background here, it's actually quite hypnotic. That's what voxel-based graphics do to you. Do I have any major issues with the game? Let me think. Well, the game can be the game's sometimes a little hard to get into, like there are parts that aren't as self-explanatory as they might have seemed to the developer. But of course that could just be me being absolutely stupid and lacking knowledge of basic human anatomy. A part that's cool, the game adds new features for like literally every level, seriously. There's not one moment where you're thinking, oh, this is so much like the last level, I'll just do this again and I'll win. No, you actually have to think very differently for each and every time you do a level. So like there's one level where you have to play very defensively and just kind of arm up with everything you can in terms of you know, antibodies, or there's other levels where you have to be really aggressive and just kind of make sure that absolutely no virus escapes that core block where they start. And there's other levels entirely where you just have to think differently. You're not it's not like there's one way to win, actually. You could play defensively or you can play offensively. Either way works. So, yeah. Voxel-based shooter. Arcade style. That's the buzzwords here, people. And I think we're about done here. So this has been NarfArfGaming. And we are now signing out.